Hey, Mattias.
Hey.
Just wanted to ask you about, first off, your thought on the run. I know it's still fresh and it still hurts. It's kind of hurt for a little while, but just the thought on what you guys accomplished here, just getting a goal away from the Stanley Cup final. And also want to ask you about your future. How does it look? Do you think, what are the chances of you coming back?
Yeah, I mean, probably starts honestly like we showed up as a team early before the season, really committed to have a good year, and then kind of got kicked in the face right away and dug ourselves a hole and brought ourselves back from that, and then you get to the playoffs and it was a great run. It's been a great year with everyone in that room, and you go through a long playoff run like that, you get close to everyone on the team, all the staff. Everyone has done an incredible job and invested a lot. And yeah, you end up, like you said, a shot away. So that's a tough feeling. But yeah, it's been a really fun ride and just didn't end the way we wanted.
Would you, looking back, it's you get that far and you miss by a goal, or maybe two. Is there anything, looking back on the season, that you would change for next year? Is there anything you'd say, maybe if we did it a little different, we'll have, that much more left? Can you say that?
I mean, yes and no. Not really, no. I think we put it all out there this year. We came that close. I think if you go back to last year when we lost against Vegas, I think we felt like we were right there. We felt like we could have beat them, and they ended up going to win. We felt like we were good enough to win. But I think we also knew that there were things in that series and things in that playoffs that we didn't do that well and that we needed to get better at. Whereas I feel this year we kind of feel that I think this team feels that if you just go out next year and do the same thing we did this year, we're going to be right there again and hopefully win the last game of the year.
You've been a free agent more than once in your career. Is it different when the team that you last played for was this close to a Stanley Cup? Does it change your free agent thinking when the team you just played for missed the Stanley Cup by such a small margin?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in my career, you really only care about winning. So for sure, if you thinking about leaving here, it's obviously incredibly tough because you know that you're so close. So that's for sure part of it, and you have to take that into consideration, and then make your decisions from there.
You might have been one of the best forwards in the Stanley Cup final. I think that's a fair assessment. And the work you guys did on the penalty killing was off the charts. Obviously, you bought into your role. What do you think it was that allowed you to get to the level that you were at? I mean, you've had success in the playoffs before, but what made you, is it just part of who you are now as a player?
Yes and no. It's hard to say that you're like that as a player. You try to be. Doesn't always end up that way, but you try to be as good as you can when it matters the most. I think as far as this year went, didn't have my greatest year in the regular season. I thought I played pretty well, to be honest. Thought I did what I needed to do on a lot of nights. Didn't end up in the score sheet, but then you're kind of, we were winning games. A lot of you take away the start, we were winning a lot of games, and everyone was contributing in their own way. But then you get to the playoffs, and I think for me, that's when you need people to get out of their comfort zone a little. You need to get contributions from people that are, like myself. I scored four goals the whole year, but I was never really too worried about it because I knew that if you can score even just one big goal in the playoffs, that'll make up for all of it. So that's always what you're looking forward to, and maybe that's what brings the best out of you when it comes down to it in the playoffs. Try to make up for everything else.
Mattias, just to build on that personal reflection element there, wherever you start the season next year, how will this playoff run specifically, but this whole season as a whole, through all the ups and downs, help Mattias Janmark in 24-25?
Yeah, for sure. like I said, it was a tough year. Personally, if you look at the points, I never thought going into the year that I would only have 12 points and whatnot. But you kind of grind through it, and thought I played pretty well on the defensive side on the puck and got better there. And yeah, you kind of learn how to play and how to be effective maybe when you're not scoring. And then the playoff run was great. Obviously, like every playoff run you go on, you learn from it. You get experiences, and this year we got a lot of experiences. We were down 3-2 against Vancouver, and we were able to come back, play Game 7. We were down 2-1, and then obviously we were down 3-0 in the final, and took it to 7 games. So those are experiences that will always be valuable when you play another playoff.
Mattias, you've played for a lot of coaches in this league. What makes Chris Knobloch as good as he is? And he seems very calm behind the bench when sometimes there's a storm going on the ice.
Yeah, for sure. The way he came in and where we were at when he came in, it's not easy to stay calm because it's a lot of pressure to get the ship back in the right direction. And it wasn't always easy, but he stayed calm, and I think it made us better as players and as a team. And as far as other coaches I've had, I think you always go through coaches, and they're all different. And I think for myself, throughout my career, with every coach, there's always something that you reflect back on that he was really good at, whether it's on the offensive side, defensive side, PK, power play. There's always something that stands out for them. And I think with Knobber, I think he's got a lot of different components that like other coaches have had that I could tell right away. And I think that he's only going to get better too as the years go by.
Mattias, just on this far side here, I know you said you like it here and that you want to win, but at the same time, you've had to take some pay cuts over the last couple of years, and I don't think you've ever been on a multi-year deal except for your ELC. So how do you prioritize that? To try to get some money and also a multi-year deal?
Yeah, to be honest, with the year I've had, I haven't thought much about the future. I was probably not expecting to have a lot of offers the way the year went, and then probably salvage a little bit of that in the playoffs. So yeah, free agency is coming up here quick, so I'm gonna have to start thinking about it a little. But yeah, you want to win. Like I said, it's tough. It's always tough to leave a team, players that you feel like you can win with. So that'll have to go into consideration, and then yeah, you'll have to look at your options. And I don't think I'll be able to turn down too much money, to be honest. I don't think there's going to be too much out there. But yeah, I want to win, and we'll see what's out there. This will always be one of 2 or 3 options, and we'll take it from there.
Mattias, as you talked about, you had a nice playoffs too, in your words, salvaged the year, but I thought there might have been a jumping off point for you a little bit in February. I know it's not at the top of your resume, but what did your little run-in with Blake Coleman do in terms of jump-starting your season? Because from my perspective, that was a bit of a jumping off point for you.
Yeah, maybe that's the way it goes. I think when something like that happens, maybe you gain a little confidence from the coach, from your teammates or whatnot. But I think that goes to what I said before. You go through a year where you struggle, you feel like you play pretty good, but you're not getting the goals or the assists or whatnot. Then you got to find ways to be effective and play, and maybe that was a part of that. Getting a little bit out of your comfort zone and yeah, learning that side of it too, and yeah, growing. I feel like that's how I got better, and like I said, like if things are not going your way in certain areas of the game, you got to find ways to contribute in other areas, whether that's on the PK or defensive side or something like that. So.
Mattias, a couple of the guys said that you gave a little bit of a passionate speech earlier in the season after a loss. I don't know if you recall, but can you walk us through that and looking back, just the fact that teammates still cite that, what does that mean to you, getting that type of recognition?
Yeah, well, I don't know. We had a really rough start, and there was never a lack of wanting anything or anything like that. It was probably the opposite, I think. We were so, dating back to losing to Vegas, this whole organization was so eager to come back and perform this year and win the Stanley Cup, and then you get off to a start like that, and you could just tell. And I just came back from an injury. I was gone for 10 games and played a game, and yeah, I think we were trying really hard, but maybe we were going at it the wrong way. And I'd been through a similar start in Dallas, where we had the same expectations on ourselves, and we came out and started 1-7-1 or something, and we got out of that in a certain way, and so I just spoke up after that game pretty much and said that I've done this before, but it's not just going to come. We need to start doing some things better, and then it will. But I also think at that point, like, it was gonna turn around no matter what. Like, we had too good of players in that room to not score more goals and win more games. But I think also to become the team that we thought we were and that we needed to be, we needed to start doing things a little bit better too.